Hey guys, welcome back to RevAtlas. I'm Sandeep and welcome to the very first edition of RevAtlas Awards. So the whole intention behind this episode or this sort of award series is to recognize the best players and best devices in terms of technology in this year and give them awards for the same. And it also will kind of allow you guys to choose the best device in the respective category and make purchase decisions as well. Now before we get started, please do make sure to hit the subscribe button and also give us a thumbs up at the end of the video if you happen to enjoy it. Now let the awards begin. So before we start, I'll sort of give you an idea about what's going to happen. So there are different categories out of which I will mention which phone has won and possibly the other nominations also if there were any in terms of the particular category, and there will also be acceptance speeches from the particular brands that have won the awards for their respective devices as well. Now, I will try to keep it as short as possible, but I also don't want to miss any of the information as well. So we will have quite a long video, I believe, but bear with me as I feel it will be worth it at the end. I'll also have purchase links in the description below in case you wish to buy any of the devices for yourself. You can take a look at it in the description below. Now, let's get it started. We'll start with the User's Choice Awards, where we basically put out tweets as well as polls on our YouTube community and allowed you to choose the best device in a particular category. There were 3 different categories, out of which the first one was the best mid-range smartphone of 2019, and the contenders were the Realme XT, the Redmi Note 7 Pro, the Samsung A50s, and the Redmi Note 8 Pro. And the winner emerged the Redmi Note 8 Pro. And now this was a huge sort of gap in terms of the voting. We saw that the Note 8 Pro got over 50% of votes in Twitter and it got over 60% of votes on YouTube, and that just shows how capable a smartphone this is. So in terms of a smartphone that costs below 20k rupees, I feel that this is probably the ultimate package in terms of the battery life you get, the camera quality, the screen, the gaming experience, performance, and it covers almost every single scenario that you need and gives you at a price that is really attractive. And I think that the Note series over the past couple of years has become one of the most iconic series when it comes to mid-range devices, and the Note 8 Pro continues that legacy as well. So well done Xiaomi for this smartphone. I truly liked it when I reviewed it as well, and I agree with the users in this choice as well. The next award was for the budget flagship of 2019, and the contenders were the Asus 6Z, the OnePlus 7, the Redmi K20 Pro, and the Realme X2 Pro. Now this was a bit more complicated in terms of the polling and the results, because on Twitter the K20 Pro did win by a small margin, but on YouTube the X2 Pro won by a large margin. So when you take the average of both of these, we found that the X2 Pro was the winner, and I also agree with that, I feel, because in essence the X2 Pro brings about quite a lot of firsts for a smartphone in this price segment, and it also borrows some of the features from its more expensive cousin, the OnePlus devices, and brings it to a more affordable price point. So one thing that's not there on any other smartphone currently is also the fast charging, the 50-watt fast charging that's not available on any phone period, and regardless of the price, and that is a game-changing feature, and I guess most smartphones will come with that feature as well in the upcoming year 2020 and 2021. But for now, this is a smartphone that can really change the way you charge your devices or the way you go about charging your devices during a day, and I feel it's well deserving of this award as well. And the last User's Choice Award was for the best flagship smartphone of 2019, where the price is not a limitation in terms of the true flagship experience that you get. So the contenders for this were namely the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus, you had the iPhone 11 Pro Max, you had the OnePlus 7 Pro and 70 Pro, and you also had the Huawei P30 Pro. And now the winner for this was the same on both Twitter as well as YouTube, and the winning smartphone was the iPhone 11 Pro and 11 Pro Max. And I feel this also deserves it. I think this is probably one of the most complete packages in terms of the features and value for money that you get from a flagship smartphone in 2019. Yes, it is a bit more expensive compared to the others on the list, but then again it is an Apple product, and then again it does provide some things better and an experience better than some of the other contenders on this list as well. So again, well deserving. Now on to the other awards. These were decided by the RevAtlas team internally, and we'll start with the best value for money smartphone of 2019. Now this could be anywhere from 5,000 rupees all the way until a lakh, but then at the core it has to provide great value for money and the best at that. So we had several options. but one smartphone clearly stood out, and that was the Redmi Note 8 Pro. So like I said earlier, in terms of the user's choice for the best mid-range smartphone, this offers great value for money. In terms of what you're paying, you're getting an experience that's perhaps worth much more than what you're paying for, and Xiaomi, hats off to Xiaomi for actually bundling this at a really affordable price point, and yet not really skimping out in any of the features or the experience that users really want from a mid-range smartphone. And in fact, if you look at what this offers, it kind of does offer so many of the features and so many of the experiences that flagship smartphones in the past few years have been giving, but at a much more affordable price point. So that's why this is the best value for money smartphone of 2019.
Hi, I'm Anuj. I lead marketing at Xiaomi India. Really wanted to thank the RevAtlas team for giving us these awards. We've put in a lot of efforts, and it's great to be seen as one of the best brands for the smartphone category in India, as well as being recognized for individual products, especially the Redmi Note 8 Pro, which is also a big winner here. Thank you so much.
Next up is the best camera phone of the year 2019, and this was kind of a difficult sort of choice that we had to make internally, and at the end the winner was the Huawei P30 Pro. And of course, it is quite obvious. The P30 Pro is an excellent smartphone when it comes to the camera capabilities, and it also has several other things that kind of are really flagship grade. But the camera is at the forefront, and Huawei has been leading the camera game for quite a while now. But it wasn't easy to arrive at this decision, because there are great camera phones other than that on the market, and 2019 especially has been a great year for camera phones. Even mid-rangers have kind of gone way ahead in terms of what we were used to getting at that price point. So it was difficult to come to a consensus on which was the camera phone of the year in 2019. But the differentiating factor, and the factor that led to Huawei P30 Pro being nominated and being the winner, was the fact that a lot of smartphones can do things similar to one another. So the 11 Pro Max can take great photos, great videos, but so can the Note 10 Plus. It can also do quite good videos and quite good photos. OnePlus 70 Pro, they can also take good videos, very good videos, but not quite as good photos, but still acceptable photos. But none of the smartphones can quite come close to the P30 Pro in terms of zoom capabilities, in terms of the low light performance, and in terms of the overall versatility that it gives with its camera setup, both in terms of the ultra wide angle, the macro, the telephoto, everything. It basically is a one single device that can possibly replace your camera, and it did for the most part on my trip to Europe earlier this year. And that's when I truly found out how capable of a camera phone it is. And I don't think that any other phone, maybe the 11 Pro Max, will come very close, but in terms of pure imaging and pure photography, I don't think that any other phone can actually beat the P30 Pro even now. And maybe the Mate 30 Pro could have done it, but we didn't have that launch here, and maybe the P40 Pro, which is coming next year, might do it. But for now, in 2019, there is no smartphone that still comes close to the P30 Pro, and that's why it is the best camera phone of 2019 for us.
Thank you so much for this award, and thank you for all the Huawei fans. At Huawei, we are committed towards bringing the new innovation and technology to all the Huawei smartphones. And P30 Pro is the one of the best flagship for the India and the rest of the world.
Now, I get a lot of people actually asking me what smartphone should they buy, what is the best smartphone available. And while that answer is actually a very complicated one, a smartphone that ticks most of the boxes is something that you could possibly recommend to each and every one. And while there are many out there, there is no smartphone that comes close to this next winner in terms of offering a no compromise experience. That's why this award for the most ultimate no compromise smartphone of 2019 goes to the Asus ROG Phone 2. Now, this phone came out of nowhere, in the sense that there was the ROG Phone 1, and that provided a crazy experience for gamers, right? But there were a few things that were lacking in terms of the overall experience for users generally. Like in terms of the camera, it was not quite great. It was not quite there when it came to, say, the screen quality and those other things. But the ROG Phone 2, as difficult as the ROG Phone 1 itself was to make, and in terms of the technology that bundled in, Asus went all crazy in fact, and bundle each and everything that you would need. It has a 6000 mAh battery which never dies. Regardless of how much you game, it still lasts you close to 10 hours in terms of screen on time. It has a 120Hz Super AMOLED panel. It has amazing speakers, which to be honest, some of these small compact Bluetooth speakers can't even match. It has a pretty good camera setup overall, especially if you use Gcam, it's pretty great. It has RGB lights at the back, it has a gaming mode, it has crazy connectivity, and all this at a price point that's below 40,000 rupees. So we were really surprised when ASUS actually revealed the price, because we were expecting maybe 5 to 10k more at the very least, considering that itself was a hopeful price, especially when you take the price of the first generation ROG phone into consideration. But nonetheless, ASUS really hit it out of the park with this, and I feel that this phone does not get the credit that it deserves. But if you actually want a smartphone that probably does every single thing that you can expect from a smartphone, and excelling at that, then the ROG Phone 2 is the ultimate smartphone of 2019 without any compromises.
Wow, we are super delighted to receive this award for ROG Phone 2, terming it as the ultimate no compromise smartphone from RevAtlas. This is a very big honor, and especially coming from RevAtlas, we are sincerely thankful to the entire RevAtlas team for giving us this honor and this award from your side. We assure you we'll continue to do our best and keep delighting our fans and all the tech gurus. We are a brand loved by tech gurus, and thank you for giving this acknowledgement to us and establishing this fact even more stronger. Thank you.
Our next award is for the best performing device of 2019. Now this is a category that's again difficult to judge, because practically every smartphone that's being launched, be it a mid-ranger or be it a flagship or even some of the lower mid-ranger options, are really good when it comes to performance these days. Of course, the difference does come in when you're gaming, but generally if you're multitasking or performing different tasks, it handles all of it with ease, considering how far we've come across in terms of the overall hardware, the processor, RAM, etc. But where the difference truly lies is in terms of longevity, and in terms of providing that performance over long durations of gaming, long durations of use, and throughout the use case or the life cycle of your smartphone. Say you're owning it for 2 years or 3 years, it should still perform the same way as it did, say, on day one. And no other brand has actually been doing it quite as well as OnePlus, and that's exactly why the OnePlus 70 is the winner here. Now, I do get it that the 70 Pro and 7 Pro are there, and they are actually higher end smartphones and maybe performs a tad bit better than the 70, but in terms of getting this sort of an experience in terms of performance at this price point, no other smartphone comes close. So there are a few other budget flagships, if you would, at this price point, but none of them provide the same kind of experience in terms of performance as the OnePlus 70, and that's why this is our winner in terms of the best performance smartphone of 2019. Now, one thing that most people forget is how important a role software plays in terms of the overall user experience of a smartphone, in comparison to hardware. So while hardware is definitely important and is the first enabler of a true experience, the software is what tweaks it, polishes it, and gives you the final end result. And that is why we have chosen Oxygen UI to be the best software experience on a smartphone. So as I mentioned earlier in our award, the OnePlus 70 is the best performing smartphone of 2019. And if you look at its brothers, the OnePlus 7, OnePlus 7 Pro, OnePlus 70 Pro, all of them offer a similarly great experience. And that's not just because of the hardware, it's because of the kind of software that goes behind it, the kind of UI that OnePlus has come up with, the tweaking, the optimization, and all these things that they have put into over the past couple of years that has made it one of the most smoothest and fastest and most up-to-date operating systems for a smartphone till date. I even feel it's better than Google's Pixel software because it provides an experience that's very close to stock Android in terms of not having bloatware, not having unnecessary UI elements, but at the same time it does not miss out on necessary features, and most important of all, it actually does perform exceedingly well from the date that you get it and a few years down the line as well. So in that sense, it is the closest that you would find to iOS on an Android device, and that's why Oxygen UI is our best UI for the year 2019. Now we're gonna stop talking about smartphones for a bit and then talk about some of the other tech devices or smart products of 2019. And our next award is for the best smart product of 2019, and the award goes to the Mi water purifier, right? So we have so many different purifiers on the market. We have some from Kent, we have some from Eureka Forbes, we have some from LG, and so many other brands that make water purifiers. But at the very core, all of them had one simple flaw or one shortcoming, and that was the servicing. So servicing costs are quite high, and in terms of having to wait for the service person to come to your home, do the service, etc., it takes time, and actually time is money, and in the end you're actually spending more money, regardless of what way you are. You're spending quite a lot of money in terms of maintaining that water purifier. So for something that provides or that meets your basic necessities such as providing water, it shouldn't have to be so complex, and that is why the Mi Smart Water Purifier wins this particular category, because it changed one very simple flaw that should have been fixed by someone else but didn't, by making service very easy. So all you have to do is basically change the filters, right? So in terms of changing the filters, most of the others are a pain to do so because it involves a lot of steps. It needs certain tools in order to dismantle the filters, and you most often cannot do it yourself, and you would require the help of a service person. But in terms of the water purifier from Xiaomi, you actually just buy the filters online. You just twist, unlock them, twist, lock them back, and you're done. That's about it. So of course, maybe over the coming few years you might have to eventually call a service person if there's some block or leakage or something like that, but that again is a very limited case, and at the end of the day it still provides you a lot of ease of mind when it comes to actually changing the filters. Apart from this, it also kind of improves your water drinking habits. It also gives you more statistics about your water habits, because it is a smart product at the end of the day, and it connects to your smartphone, and it also shows you the live TDS levels. It shows you how much water you have consumed, and these things are not available in most of the smart purifiers, or whatever they call as smart water purifiers on the market, and that's why this is our best smart product of the year 2019.
Hi everyone, my name is Raghu Reddy. I head categories and online sales here at Xiaomi India. I would like to thank RevAtlas for calling out the Mi Smart Water Purifier as the best smart product to be launched in 2019. We believe the Mi Smart Water Purifier is a game-changing product in the water purifier segment, and people love it for 2-3 different reasons. First reason, they're able to change filters by themselves, which is why we're calling it the do-it-yourself filters. Second, they're able to monitor the filter live, real time on the Mi Home app. And 3, if they want to buy filters, they can buy it with one click right from within the Mi Home app itself.
Our next award category involves TVs, and yes, smart TVs, because that's what's important this year, and this award is for the best smart TV of 2019. So when it comes to smart TVs, there are 3 main issues. I mean, there are many issues, but 3 main things that I personally felt when I was also buying a smart TV. So let me talk about back in 2013 when I was moving to Bangalore and I wanted a TV for myself, and this was the first time that I was ever going to buy a TV with my own money. So I wanted, ever since I was a child, a huge TV and something to play games in, watch content on, and at that time even 40 inch was considered big. But I kind of went all out and bought a 50-inch Samsung TV, a plasma TV, because I wanted it for gaming, the higher refresh rate, etc., compared to a regular LCD TV at the time. But one of the issues was, when I was trying to find new products, was the nomenclature of TVs. So it was not very easy to actually identify which TV is which, because the naming scheme was quite different, quite difficult. It didn't have an easy name such as iPhone 11 or Note 8 Pro. It didn't have an easy naming scheme. So all you had was a model number. Of course, you had the series, but in terms of the actual model itself, you had to look at the model number, which was LD8990UD or something like that. And at the end, you might have UD/M. Sometimes you have UDM or different sort of names. And at the very least, one feature or the color or something or the other would change, and that made it very difficult to arrive at the ideal TV that I wanted to buy at the end. But nonetheless, I did make a decision and ended up with a 50-inch Samsung plasma TV, 51-inch actually. At that time, I remember paying around 50 80,000 rupees, I think, at that time, close to 80,000 for that. And you know, that was a big deal. Having a 50 inch at home was a big deal. A lot of people had maybe 32 inches HD ready TVs, or even 43 or 42 inch full HD TVs at the time, but 50 was kind of a rarity, at least in my friend circle and family circle. But at the very heart of most Indians, we all yearn to buy a big screen TV that our family can enjoy and friends can enjoy at home, and that is what I feel has changed in the past couple of years. The third issue is basically in terms of content. Now, with the advent of digital streaming services coming aboard, it's quite easy to find the content that you want. There is a search feature, etc. But still, many of the people who are using smart TVs now are people who have kind of been used to the whole digital set-top box or the cable sort of era, and they find it a bit difficult to get accustomed to this, particularly speaking about people like my parents. So content discovery is a huge problem. They don't know which service has what. So this is an issue where they want to watch something but they don't know where to find it, and instead of wasting time going through service after service and finding that particular thing, it would be great if there's one service which can tell you exactly where to find that content, and regardless of what service it is, you are just able to watch it. So this particular set of problems, these three problems, are solved with the Mi TV 4X 50 inch, and that is why it is our smart TV of the year. Now, of course, Mi TV 4X is the series name, and you have different models. You have the Mi TV 50 inch, Mi TV 55 inch, and the 65 inch and even smaller sizes. So in the sense, this solves the first problem that I had, was to find which model to buy. So all you need to know is find out what is the viewing distance that you have at home, what is the kind of screen size that you want, and then go for that thing, because at the very core, all the sort of features remain the same across the screen sizes. So all that changes is the basic screen size itself, and all are 4K displays. The other thing is basically the cost. So back then I had to pay 80,000 rupees for a 1080p plasma panel. Now we are getting a smart TV which is a 4K in terms of resolution. You have much more features, much more connectivity, etc., and at a price point that's less than half of what I paid back then. So that's truly incredible, and I feel that the price point is very critical, because in a country like India, where the spending capacity of people is much limited, this TV will allow the masses to sort of go after their dreams, or get their dream TV in terms of the size itself. So homes where they have previously had CRT TVs, or homes where they had small LCD or LED TVs, they can now go for 50 inches or even higher, thanks to the new pricing which I feel Xiaomi has sort of brought into the market. Now other players are also doing it, Samsung is also doing it, View is doing it, etc. But Xiaomi is leading the pack, and I feel that the Mi TV 4X 50 inch is the prime example of one sort of solution meets all demand or all needs, and I feel that's why it gets the award as well. It also solves the last problem that we had, which is content discoverability and access. So patch wall is very simple to use. I personally heard it from my parents and from many other people who found it really easy to use. So all they need to do is just look at the content that they want and watch it. They don't need to worry about which service or which content provider is giving the particular film or series or show, but at the end of it, they're just able to watch it with one click without many other issues. So that is why the Mi TV 4X50 gets the award. Great product, and I feel that they are going to bring out many more interesting products in the year to come.
Hi, my name is Sudeep Sahu, and I'm a product manager here at Xiaomi India, and we are really thrilled and excited to have received the best smart TV of the year for the Mi TV 4X 50 inch. I think all of you guys loved the fact that it came with 4K HDR, Netflix Prime Video support, and lots of new exciting features. Thank you so much.
Next comes an award that is brand centric. So it was deciding the most innovative brand of 2019. So we did see quite a few innovations over the year. The Galaxy Fold is one particular innovation that I quite liked. It is maybe not a fully refined product or a product that everyone has access to, and that sort of is the problem in it. Not a lot of people have access to it, and nor does it feel like a fully finished product. But we wanted something that did feel like a fully finished product and that did affect the lives of many people by bringing innovation truly to the masses. And that's where the Realme X2 Pro came into the picture, because it kind of did provide 50-watt fast charging at a very affordable price point. And like I said earlier, there's no smartphone in the market that provides this fast charging speeds regardless of the price, and that totally changes the end user experience. And this innovation is something that we see many other brands going to be adopting in the coming year, but Realme brought it to us in 2019, and that itself is a great feat. The next award is for the most promising smartphone brand, right? And this is something that we feel is quite obvious, is quite evident, and no other smartphone brand I think will probably be more deserving than Realme. And the reason for this is because in the little time that they have been on the market, less than 2 years or so, they have actually managed to create some crazy devices, both in terms of the features, performance, and they've also built up a huge fan base. And overall, whatever they've shown this year in terms of the product, the Realme X, the Realme X2 Pro with the fast charging, the Realme Buds Air, and all these products put together, they are showing a lot of promise. And I feel that they are slowly getting into a stride, and that the year 2020 we might see a much better set of products in their portfolio, and we are quite looking forward to that as well. So that's why they are the most promising brand of 2019.
A big thank you to the team at RevAtlas for giving us the award for the most promising smartphone brand, most innovative brand, Realme with X2 Pro and 50-watt fast charging, the best budget flagship of 2019, the user's choice Realme X2 Pro. These achievements keeps us motivated to grow our brand and deliver the best products to our customers. Thank you very much.
The next award is for the best flagship smartphone of 2019, and this is an award that goes to the best smartphone period. There's no price limits, there's no limits on what OS it is, there's no limits on anything basically, but it just has to give you the best of everything. And that is why the iPhone 11 Pro Max is the winner in this. I personally tell people that I always use, or I can and I have the ability to use the best smartphone available at any given point of time. That is sort of advantage that I have being in this industry itself, and I feel that this is the first time that I'm actually purchasing an iPhone personally, and it also is because of the kind of smartphone that it is. So although on paper it might not seem like a huge difference compared to the previous generation 10s and 10s Max, the 11 Pro and 11 Pro Max actually are huge upgrades in terms of the overall experience that it gives. You want great battery life? This has it. You want great screens? This has it. You want great gaming? This has it. Great performance, great cameras, great audio quality, anything and everything that you require from a smartphone, this has it. It of course comes at a price, and it of course means that you have to go into iOS, which I myself wasn't willing to do so until I came across such a good product, and I'm okay right now. I still do feel that there are some things that could be improved, that I need to get adjusted, since I come from using a long line of Android smartphones and this is my first personal iPhone ever. But at the end of the day, I feel that there is no other smartphone that comes close in terms of giving as good a performance across all the categories possible than the 11 Pro Max and 11 Pro itself. The last and final award is for the best all-round smartphone brand. Now, if you look at most of the user choice awards or several of the other categories that we had actually listed so far in terms of awards, there was one sort of brand that had contenders or nominations in almost every single category of smartphones, and it also had nominations in something else, and that brand is Xiaomi. So they not only did provide great and probably the best options in particular categories of smartphones, but they also went over and above, and they also gave great products in other ecosystems such as TVs, smart products such as water purifiers, speakers, etc. So they had a wide range of things which they excelled at, but more importantly, they had so many different nominations across different categories that we did consider, and maybe they lost out by a small margin, but if the other phones that won those categories weren't there, they could have possibly won all of it. And if you look at the total number of awards that we're giving out today, most of them have been won by Xiaomi, and they won a total of 5 awards. And if you look at a phone below 10,000, Xiaomi automatically comes to mind. If you look at a phone below 15,000, Xiaomi comes to mind. A phone below 20, below 30, all of these are dominated by Xiaomi, and they make really, really good phones. And that's why they are our best all-round smartphone brand of 2019. So that's it for this video, guys. That wraps up our awards of 2019. As I said, please do hit the subscribe button if you like this video, and leave me your opinions on what you think of these awards, and whether you agree with them, or whether if you don't agree with them, let me know what your choices, what your picks would be for these categories. Let me know why as well. And I'd also like to thank you all for the undying support. I mean, you guys have always been there from the very start of RevAtlas, and now we have come such a long way and so close to a major milestone, which is 100,000 subscribers. I did kind of hope that we would reach there before the end of the year, but it seems very unlikely now. But it's still not bad. I mean, 98,000 subscribers is still a great place, and especially when it's with people like you guys who are so interactive, who are so supporting, and who are so welcoming of the different ideas and different things that we bring on screen. And thank you for that. I really hope that all of you have a wonderful Christmas and a happy New Year, and hopefully we have yet another year of wonderful tech innovations and tech products in the year 2020 as well. Thanks for watching this video. See you again in the next one. Bye. Goodbye.